So, why is venting important for ENFJs? A lot of times you may hear that ENFJs really like to vent to their friends, and that if they're upset, it's a good idea that they should vent to someone about it. It's a good idea for ENFJs to vent because if they aren't talking or experiencing the extroversion of their feeling, then they aren't thinking about their feelings. I oftentimes sit around like, am I feeling okay? And then like, once I interact with someone, I'm like, oh. It's like really, really weird. Like all day, I've just felt like my brain was completely blocked out by mush, and I've felt this way several times in my life, and I've never known why. But for some reason, I'm always trying to figure out why. It's came to my conclusion that maybe that is just a sign that I should talk to someone. I'm not saying like I need to talk to, I'm not saying there's like an issue with my mental health. It's just, overall I am fine. But it's like maybe a sign that I'm not catering to my emotions. Or it's almost like this feeling where I'm not denying them, but I'm not acknowledging them either. It's amazing all the conclusions I could come up with when I'm just talking. Wow, like, I didn't even know that before until I just said it. Yes, maybe I just need to acknowledge my emotions. You see, this is why ENFJs like to vent, is because they use people like a sounding board for their own introverted thinking that they can't easily access. And so, whenever they're talking, it's almost like I'm observing my words and trying to come to the conclusion, like, what does that person who is talking think? As it's easier than asking me what I think. It's easier to observe the words I'm saying and take a guess at what I might think than to actually ask myself what I think and what I feel. So, it's a good idea for ENFJs to vent because, one, you should trust that the people in your life care to hear what you have to say. I, for a while, would wait for people to ask me how I'm doing, and the thing is that they're never going to ask you how you're doing as often as you want, especially ENFJs. We have very high standards for that. But you have to trust that the person cares, because everyone is focusing on their own life. They aren't going to have time to ask you how you're doing all the time, even though that'd be great, because everyone should ask how people are doing and remember that. But you have to be like, hey, can I talk about this? You have to acknowledge your emotion inside you and acknowledge that it needs to be addressed. I don't think that writing in a journal really helps as much as venting. You know, the word venting, like, I just don't even want to think that it's something that helps me. I want to think that that's not how I work. Because I've gone to therapists before where it was just basically a venting session, and it was terrible. Maybe it's because they weren't a real bouncing board. They just were still and like didn't really bounce anything off of me. It's a lot easier when people are like, oh my god, really? Oh wow, oh no, that sucks. It's like so much easier if I get some sort of expression back to like understand like where I'm at. It's like when I went to therapy wherever I was just talking about my life, I felt even more misunderstood than I did prior, because I was like, are you even listening to me? Do you have anything to say? Like, why am I just talking? So, yeah. It's a good idea for ENFJs to vent because then it requires them to acknowledge their emotions. And a really good friend for an ENFJ is one that is asks them how they're doing and is constantly affirming them. Now, I'm a huge fan of this concept called radical candor. There's a podcast, there's a website, there's a book. It's all about balancing challenging directly and caring personally. So whenever I say constantly validate, I definitely don't mean not challenge. I just mean constantly validate. If you're in someone's life, you should be adding something positive to it. So, or else what's the point? But, yeah. I think that it's like, we're expressive people and we should just accept it and let ourselves vent to people, even if we're not sure if people want to know what we want to say. We need to be more confident in ourselves that people care, and also acknowledge your own feeling when they're in your head, and don't try and figure it out. Just be with it, because you won't figure it out all the time. That's kind of what I'm experiencing right now, is that I'm beginning to have a hypothesis that maybe I don't feel very good right now. Maybe I'm sad about something or someone. I don't know. It's like, that's just how it feels, is that it's like, I could be experiencing an emotion right now, but I'm not sure the root. It's a lot easier to know whenever it's an extroverted feeling sort of thing, where it's like, oh, this person said something shitty about my mom. Fuck you. I hate you. Like, that's like a really easy thing when you're reacting to someone. But if you're not reacting to anything, I don't know what I could possibly be feeling if I'm not even reacting to anything. Like, if I'm just sitting there, it's like I'm in a comfortable bed. I had a wonderful day at work. I ate good food. I was with my family. It's like, what? And it's like, I think introverted feelers have an easier time understanding, like, and navigating those feelings. If you're a TP, an introverted thinker, comment below and let me know how this is for you, because I don't know, I assume that TPs are also trying to figure everything out, but I just would suggest to acknowledge your feelings just as you'd want a friend to do to you, and allow yourself to vent.